Hey class, this is a lesson for April 20th to the 21st, Monday or Tuesday, depending on what class you're in. It's going to be all the same. Our agenda for today is just to talk about inequalities real quick, give you some notes, pretty much practice problems, and then you do the handout that I posted on Google Classroom already, and then at the end, if you could, be nice, answer this Google form. It's just one question, okay? But if at the end of this video, hopefully you know how to be able to explain and describe what inequalities are. Except I'm not gonna go over all these slides because technically you have done this, and I do have videos about this one specifically. So, and it kind of goes into detail about how to do this. But obviously, if you need help, then that's when you talk to me during class. But for the most part, just remember inequalities are we're just comparing things. Okay, we're not always talking about equal signs, although for the most part we are. But usually in life, there's plenty of examples that you can think of where we're just comparing two values. I chose marbles because, I don't know, that was my example. That these are two marbles, just in case you didn't know. But, for example, we could say 7 marbles is greater than 2 marbles. Or we could also say 7 marbles is less than 10 marbles. Because it wouldn't make sense to use equal signs here. Oops, my bad. Okay, it doesn't make sense. 7 is not equal to 10. So then that's where these 4 come in. So you have to know how to read this, and of course what they mean. So I went over a video. If you want, watch the video here. I went over a video on this already. So hopefully you're cool with that. I'm just going to jump right into these type of problems, okay? So it's only 1, 2, 3 slides. And they're not that bad. These are more like the examples you can see, or the problems you can see on your handout. Okay? But for the most part, this problem just says solve and graph inequalities with one variable. Okay? So you just treat it as just a regular equation. There are some little steps you have to do. But for the most part, it's if you know how to solve an equation, you should be fine. But this one reads x plus 3 is greater than negative 2. So then we've got to solve for x. We want x by itself, so we got to get rid of that positive 3. So what I'm going to do first is the usual. It's adding, so I'm just going to do the opposite, which is subtract. 3 both sides. This side cancels out. And on the left side, we're left with x, which is what we want, is greater than negative 2 minus 3 is negative 5. Okay, so then you just go x is greater than negative 5. Negative 5, that's an open circle. And it's greater than, so it goes this way. Okay? Any number to the right of negative 5 is greater than, and x could be any of these numbers, it doesn't matter. But it cannot be negative 5. Okay? Now for this one, we have x minus 1 is less than negative 2. Same thing, subtracting. So we're going to do the opposite, add 1 to both sides. This side cancels out, and we're left with just x again. And it's less than negative 2 plus 1, negative 1. So now this statement reads x is less than negative 1. Negative 1 is over here. Boom. And less than will be going to here, to all these numbers that are smaller than negative 1. Okay, x can be any number except negative 1. Okay. Boom, one step. Same thing as an equation, except now we're just doing a little bit extra. Okay. And here we go. Next problems. Pretty straightforward. Again, we're going to solve for x, and then graph these inequalities. But now we're dealing with multiplication. Okay. 3 times x is greater than negative 9. And so we're just going to solve for that. So the opposite of multiplying is dividing. 3 both sides. This cancels out, and so we're left with just x is greater than, well, 9. Negative 9 divided by 3 would be negative 3. So then again, x is greater than negative 3. Negative 3 is over here, my bad. Boom. This way. Okay, a little bit faster now. 1/4 x is less than or equal to 1. This is just dividing it. if you don't like it like this, what you could have it as just x over 4 like this, but it's the same thing. I've written it both ways for you in class, but now it's just the same thing. X is being divided by this 4, so to do the opposite of that, you got to multiply both sides by 4. Boom, boom, and you got x is less than or equal to 4, and that's that. That goes over there, and less than or equal to, so then it goes this way. Okay, and remember, this symbol is less than or equal to, so then it can be any number less than 4, but it could also be 4, okay, for this number. Alright, now here is the technically new part, at least in my class. I've never taught this. I'm not even going to explain it. If you want to explain it, I'll make another video for it. I just want to waste too much of your time. If you just want to know how to do it, here you go. But it's the same type of problems, except now there's one little difference, okay? And it has to do with these negative signs, okay? But first things first, let's just solve it. You have negative 4x is less than 12. All you got to do is just, well, they're multiplying. So to get rid of that 4, or negative 4, you got to divide by negative 4 both sides. Okay? That's gone. And then you have x, and you got 12 divided by negative 4 would give you negative 3. Now, if you were to put this symbol right here, you'd be wrong. Okay? That is not correct. When you divide or when you multiply by a negative number, you have to flip the sign. Like that. It was less than, now it's greater than. So again, when you multiply or divide by a negative number, when you're dealing with inequalities, of course, you have to switch. I'll say switch. That's switch. Geez, that's some trash, sorry. Switch inequality. Only when you divide or multiply by a negative number. Okay? So then again, this switched to that one, so now you have x is greater than, oh, sorry, I'm way off, my bad. X is greater than negative 3, like that. Boom. Okay? Again, I don't want to waste too much of your time explaining this part. I'll make a separate video that you can watch, optional if you wanted to, that I'll try to explain why this is why it happens. Okay? Now, let's just do this one. It's very similar to this problem. And in fact, it's the exact same steps. So we're going to do the exact same thing. X is being divided by negative 4. So then, to get rid of that, we're going to multiply both sides by negative 4. This side and this side. So again, this side cancels out. We're left with x is less than, oh nope, I already messed up, see? Is greater than or equal to 4. Okay? Because when you multiply by an opposite, or by a negative number, sorry, your sign, your inequality has to switch. Okay? So then, you have x is greater than or equal to 4. And that's pretty much it. Okay? This is the only tricky part. The problem, the handout that I gave you, it's pretty much the same. It's a little bit more complicated, of course. I mean, these are hella easy. Can't make it that easy. So I had to make it a little more complicated. But the only tricky part, in my opinion, is just this last part. Is whenever you're dividing or multiplying by a negative number, you have to switch to inequality. Okay? As I did here. So if you need any help, these notes or this handout, these slides will be posted also, all annotated like this in your Google Classroom. So don't trip. You don't have to watch this, but thank you. If you have any questions, let me know. But we're pretty much done here. Thank you.